Hello, this is Tom from anti-proton.com, and I'm talking today to AluminumStudios. I wanted to say, first off, it's morning. I just woke up. That's why my hair looks so bad, why I look like a weirdo. Yeah, my wife's sleeping in the other room, so I don't want to wake her up. I have my kitty here. I wanted to say thank you for what you're doing out in Japan. You're incredibly articulate, and you speak Japanese at the same time as being articulate, which is sort of interesting because you can speak English really well too. I'm assuming English is your native language, since you look like you're taking more time to translate Japanese than you are to speak fluidly English, or fluid English rather. Well, I'm not speaking fluid English. Excuse me. I just woke up like 20 minutes ago. But anyhow, I am an avid tea drinker from teas from Japan. See, tea, 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 tea. All these were sitting on my kitchen counter. I was about to throw them in the recycling bin. This was 2 days ago, yesterday night, yesterday morning. Don't recall. Although that's my favorite. I of course worry about radiation being in my tea. You can tell if the tea that's from the that's come to the United States from Japan. I haven't had my coffee yet, so like my brain isn't working. You can tell if the tea that's come from Japan to America is safe by knowing that it's pre-Fukushima. And there's still a lot of pre-Fukushima stock available in the United States. I called Ito in and spoke with them about this in detail. This is for Ito in only, and only in the United States, I would think. Perhaps other countries. Look at the sell-by date up in the corner. Subtract 15 months from this. If the tea was made before Fukushima, based on this date minus 15 months, it's probably good. The reason being, the sell-by date is 15 months since the tea was harvested, since it was bottled. So you'd probably have to make calculations for harvesting. Let's say, what, 14 months to make sure? Yeah, go 14 months to be safe, but the company says 15. So anyhow, let's see, 8. This is a post-Fukushima tea. This was made April, March. This was made like 3 or 4 months after Fukushima. I drank this. I consistently test my teas. Now, how do I do this? I use a very, very good Geiger counter. This guy right here is incredibly sensitive because of this pancake. See, pancake, Geiger-Müller tube. It is not as sensitive as a scintillator. Radiation will make it past this. And the only way for me to test is to dry tea samples, and when I do it, it's costly. It's sad too, I don't like doing it. But I'll take a bottle, I pull all the tea out of the bottle, put it into a container, boil it down over the course of a time, and I slow boil until I get down to the solids. I take the resin and I compress the resin into a little cubey looking thing. I then run this for several hours in one spot in my testing location to get a very, very accurate baseline. Then I insert the tea nugget and I test it. The tea nugget's thickness should be very, very thin so that the beta reabsorption isn't too high. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get the most possible. You're trying to make it the nugget almost a two-dimensional circle if you can. You can't, but as close as you can. That way you can take the readings and multiply them by 2 to calculate the entire becquerels coming from one circle of tea. If you look at my YouTube channel, you'll see I've tested and shown several of my tea samples. I should show some more because I do test this quite often. I just don't put them all up on YouTube. So far, I have found my tea to be less radioactive, my green tea, than most domestic United States pre-Fukushima teas like an Earl Grey or something like that. Because all tea has a little bit of radiation in it, because almost all plants have a little bit of radiation. They pick it up out of the ground. Potassium has naturally occurring isotope of radiation in it, potassium 40. Example here, there's a nugget of potassium. The Geiger counter goes wild. I don't know if you can, oops, don't want to contaminate my probe, but I don't know if you can hear that, but the Geiger counter goes nuts when you... And of course, thorium and other things like that, you'll naturally find that they contain little bits of, little traces of, well, thorium is radioactive. You'll find that plants contain traces of thorium and things like that, and those are perfectly fine as well too. So it's hard to separate what is really radiation you're getting from Fukushima and what you're getting from normal things. So what I do is I've been comparing baselines of pre-Fukushima tea versus post-Fukushima tea and looking for change in that. So I'm looking for the change in the tea from one to the other, not necessarily the change from the tea to the baseline, but I check both. Anyhow, I wanted to thank you again for what you're doing. It's very, very important, and it's important to get that information out there. Apparently the Japanese are not doing a very good job of getting the information to their own people, and I'm going to be in Japan, what is it now, March, April, 8 months, 9 months, something like that. I'm going to be in Japan, and I'm going to like test all of my food before I eat it. So, again, thank you for what you're doing, and this is my stupid little response video to say thank you, because if you spend the time to do what you're doing, I should say thank you back to you, and Goddard's Journal for pointing me out to you, and pointing you out to me, rather, in the first place. Look at that, flipped. Alright, there is my kitty. He wants to do something, so I'll probably go now. Okie dokie, bye-bye.